The Weaver and the Glimmer Mouse. In a small cottage at the edge of the woods lived Lilia. She was a weaver with a heart as warm as wool, though her own coat was thin and her cupboards were bare. Every day, Lilia sat at her old wooden loom, turning plain flax into simple cloth. Though she was poor, she always hummed a happy tune, her fingers dancing across the strings with grace and care. One chilly evening, Lilia heard a tiny, rhythmic scratching. Behind a pile of scrap fabric, she found a small mouse trapped under a fallen heavy spool of lead. This was no ordinary mouse. His fur was the color of starlight, and his whiskers shimmered like morning dew. "Oh, you poor little thing," Lilia whispered, gently lifting the heavy weight to set him free. The mouse shook himself out and began to glow with a soft golden light. "Thank you, Weaver," he squeaked. "I am Tick, the keeper of lost shimmers. Because you helped me without asking for a prize, I have a gift for you." He reached into his tiny vest and pulled out a single, glowing spool of thread that pulsed like a heartbeat. "This thread is magic," Tick explained. "Whatever you weave with it will come to life, but only if you use it to help others. If used for greed, the magic will fade away." Lilia took the thread, her eyes wide. It felt warm in her hand, like a captured sunbeam. Tick gave a polite bow and vanished into a tiny hole in the wall, leaving behind a trail of glitter. The next morning, Lilia saw a young boy shivering in the village square. She hurried home and wove a small blanket using a strand of the magic thread. As soon as the blanket touched the boy's shoulders, it began to purr like a kitten and radiate a gentle, cozy heat. The boy laughed, hugging the blanket close as his shivers disappeared instantly. Word of Lilia's kindness spread. She wove a sturdy rope for a fisherman whose nets were breaking, and the rope moved on its own to help pull in the heavy catch. She wove a pair of spectacles for an old man named Silas, whose eyes were failing. When he put them on, the magic thread showed him the world in bright, beautiful colors he hadn't seen in years. But watching from the shadows was Grom, a man whose heart was as cold as stone and whose hands were always grasping for more. He saw the magic thread and wanted it all for himself. "With that thread, I could build a palace of jewels," he hissed. That night, while Lilia slept, Grom crept into her cottage and snatched the golden spool from her loom. Grom rushed to his own workshop and began to weave. He tried to make a castle made of diamonds and gold. But because Grom had no skill and even less kindness, the magic thread began to gray and wither in his hands. Instead of sparkling jewels, the loom spat out piles of dry, brown, dead leaves that crumbled to dust at his touch. Grom threw the empty spool down in rage, but the magic was gone. Meanwhile, Lilia woke to find her workshop dark and the thread missing. She wasn't angry. She was only sad she couldn't help more people. Suddenly, Tick appeared on her windowsill. "Do not worry, Lilia," he said. "The thread knows the hands that hold it. You have used your gift well." Tick tapped his tail against a small clay pot, and it transformed into a beautiful lamp that burned with an eternal shimmering flame. "You never asked for anything for yourself," Tick said, "so the shimmers have brought you light that will never go out." Lilia smiled, realizing that while the thread was gone, the joy she had given others would shine forever. Kindness, she knew, was the greatest magic of all.